Welcome back from that break. You're still watching New Vision TV News. We now look at news in business. In business today, Uganda Revenue Authority collected 16.6 trillion shillings, much more than it had estimated in the 2018-2019 financial year budget against a target of 16.4 trillion Uganda shillings. This means URA collected 259 billion shillings more, the biggest in its history. At the regional level, Uganda performed better than all partner states with 15% growth in revenue. It is followed by Rwanda with 13.3%, Kenya 11.3%, Burundi 9%, and Tanzania at just 2%. Paul Busharizi speaks to us on what this means for the country.
It will be more able as a country to pay off our debts, or to service our debts, so to speak. Yeah, and it's been a long struggle for years. I mean, in around 1986, we were down to about 6% of GDP we were collecting. So now that we have actually almost tripling it, shows some progress. So it's good.
Where does this surplus go? Is there like a fund where they put it, and who takes care of it?
Well, all the money that's collected goes to the treasury anyway. So we already know that in the next financial year, or this financial year right now, we have a budget of 40 trillion, but we're going to we project collect 20 trillion. So you can see we have a shortage. That money goes into filling shortages.
Just like that?
Yes, absolutely. We need the money.
Of course we do. But I thought it would it would take care of the issues of the last financial year. Do they bring it forward?
Well, by the time the Commissioner General of URA is reporting this, I think the way normally the budget works is that you can't resolve issues of the last financial year this year or something, unless it is planned for next year. So these are like arrears carried forward. So the fact that she's reporting things that end as of June 30th, which is the last of the financial year. So if there's an excess, it just gets rolled over into the next year.
There are actually cases that I've seen of the way they're collecting taxes.
Yeah. And interestingly, maybe also to speak to that, is that the biggest jump came from VAT. And VAT is very prone to that kind of business. Because there's issue of refunds, and then issue of when do you pay for the VAT, and I think URA still insists that you have to do it when you invoice, which is even before you've got paid. So you could be paying for stuff before you actually got the money out, and
which is unrealistic.
It's uncomfortable, obviously, for the companies. So yes, it's good. We're raising more and more revenue, but the methods might come back to bite us.
We need to change. We need to revise.
Yeah, we need to be more sensitive to the economic players.
All right. Well done, URA, but also revise your methods. We have seen many people complain about the way you collect the taxes, but well done. We appreciate it. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
That was news in business, and now for Pearl of Africa series today, we'll look at the African rock python. The African rock python is the third biggest snake in the world. They have the capacity to kill and swallow prey that is twice their size. A snake of this kind is kept at the Uganda Wildlife Education Center.
This snake coiling in the grass is known as an African rock python. These are identified from the pattern on their bodies, which are thick and covered with colored brooches and irregular stripes. These body markings vary from brown, olive, chestnut, and yellow, but fade to white on the underside. The head of an African rock python is triangular and is marked on the top with a dark brown spearhead outlined in bathy yellow. As the trend is at the Uganda Wildlife Education Center, all the animals kept here have names. Dan Mirembe, zookeeper, tells us how they gave this python a name.
Give them names depending on the pattern that they have on their skin. So for this snake here, if you can come very close, you will see this one is like letter N, okay? This one is like letter N, and these are 3 eyes, and this one is N, and then the other one is what? So this one we can call it Nini. So we have Kamuli, we have Kui, so depending on the pattern that they have.
UWEC has just 6 snakes of this kind, but normally such creatures are not rescued from predators but appear suddenly. Such snakes are known to be the biggest in Africa, but they are ranked at number 3 in the world as they can swallow a human being thrice their size. Mirembe adds that even when they are attacked after feeding, they can vomit the prey and respond to the attack. This makes me ask, what do they feed these animals with?
So we feed them on chicken, and the response is always depending on the what? On the appetite. So if one has good appetite, it can eat even all the 30 chicken. So on every week, we normally give them around 30 chicken. So we put them inside there, and each one will keep on picking one by one.
A male python is differentiated from a female by physically looking at the size and the tail. The female African rock python is bigger than the male, and also the tail of the female are pointed than that of the male. I can say snakes are friendly animals, but according to Mirembe, a snake gives you a warning before it attacks. This can explain why he can freely hold it on his shoulder and freely interact with me as he lightly holds its head. That is it for today. More adventure series coming up tomorrow in our bulletin.
For more Pearl of Africa stories, visit our website www.newvision.co.ug/Pearl of Africa, or grab yourself a copy of the Sunday Vision every Sunday that carries some of these stories. Now, for our special report today, a nurse injects pupils with fake vaccine. A UWEC nurse was recently arrested for administering fake hepatitis B vaccine on school children while extorting money from school authorities. New Vision TV explores the impact of this case.
Hundreds of children in 7 schools have been infected with a fake substance by bogus health fraudsters purporting to be carrying out hepatitis B vaccine. The police have arrested a suspected quack nurse who is accused of administering a fake vaccine to both pupils and students in the 7 schools in various parts of the country. Hepatitis B is a serious liver infection caused by hepatitis B virus. Having chronic hepatitis B increases one's risk of developing liver failure, cancer, a condition that permanently scars the liver. Preliminary police findings indicate that a suspected quack nurse was reusing a syringe to administer the fake substance to the children. The Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson Patrick Onyango said the police tracked down the suspect.
Ono abadde atambula mu masomero aganjawulo ng'agenda akuba abaana empiso oba gye tuyita vaccination nga abakuba amazzi nga balimbalimba nti eyo ddagala lya hepatitis B ne cervical cancer.
Hanifa Nakaiwa alias Anwita Mazire, who reportedly claimed to be providing cheap school-to-school medical services to both primary and secondary children. However, the affected schools have not been named due to the sensitivity of the matter. Nakaiwa visited schools with a population between 800 and 1,500 students and was reportedly charging 1,000 shillings per child for the fake vaccine, according to the police.
Buli omwana abadde amuggyako nnusu 1,000 ng'amaze okujja ku baana nga basuka mu 1,000.
Nayagala okweyanga ndowooza nkyasobola okuyitamu ndasaba mukama asobola okunyama afuna akasente.
This means that in a school with a population of 1,000 pupils, the suspect was walking away with 1 million shillings. Ordinarily, a complete dose of a vaccine in private clinics costs between 60,000 shillings and 120,000 shillings. According to Onyango, Nakaiwa was arrested following a tip-off from the vigilant nurse in one of the schools. She is being questioned by the criminal investigations detectives. Samples of the vaccine that was being administered have been submitted to the government analytical laboratory for analysis.
Bakole testing, bakebere balabe anti kiki kyabadde akozesa wadde atugambye atabadde akozesa amazzi.
The charges against Nakaiwa will depend on the findings. According to Onyango, Nakaiwa claimed she was merely injecting the children with water. She reportedly told police that she tried but failed to complete a nursing assistant course. In 2014, the Uganda Nursing and Midwives Council recommended the phasing out of nursing assistants due to the big number of unemployed qualified nurses in the country. Nursing assistants largely train on the job and do such work as sorting out patients at reception areas or provide helping hands at healthy facilities. Onyango said Nakaiwa was in possession of forged letters and identity cards from the Health Ministry, introducing her as a medical worker authorized to vaccine school-going children for hepatitis B and to carry out cervical cancer screening.
Biwandiko bino nga alaga nti bamuwadde olukusa ogenda okugema abaana obulwadde buno. Katabadde amaze okutambulawo okugema abaana mu masomero nga 7.
Nakaiwa was arrested on Monday last week and was first detained in Bwegerere before being transferred to Kira Division Police Station, where she is being held on charges of impersonation and forgery. The Health Ministry's Senior Public Relations Officer, Emmanuel Ainibiuna, applauded the police action.
Okuva mu kitongole ky'ebyobulamu si kwa kusasula. So omuntu yenna abanga aze kugema abaana nga asaba sente oyabeera mufere ate mwangu okututegeeza.
The Uganda Population-Based HIV Impact Assessment 2016 survey indicates that chronic hepatitis B infection prevalence varies across the country, with the highest rates in the northern region with 4.6%, in the mid-north 4.4%, in the northeast and 3.8% in West Nile. Globally, hepatitis is killing nearly 1.4 million people annually, while nearly 300 million people live with it. As part of measures to deal with the problem, the government introduced hepatitis B vaccine for all children about 10 years ago, according to Diana Atwina, the Health Ministry's Permanent Secretary. The vaccine was also introduced to adults as well, and they were vaccinated once they tested negative. However, the vaccination exercise is being done in a phased manner due to financial challenges that cannot allow the rollout in all the districts. The screening of blood for transfusion has been strengthened to minimize transmission, and strict protocols have been put in place against reusable syringes and needles.
That was New Vision TV News. Thank you for watching. I am Lynn Komjisha. I leave you with a fact file.